changes to the agenda? Does anybody want to make a motion to accept the?
Iowa makes a motion to accept the consent agenda.
Need a second? Actually, we'll
I'm going to go
second.
get the voice recorder. Continue, but I'll do it.
All in favor?
Aye.
It's for transcription purposes, not legal. Yes, aye.
And I'm gonna pull up the packet on up here so I can see too.
So next we'll move on to public comments. It looks like we have no one here to make public comments. Rick, did we have any written communication from the public?
Received one today, saying that it was difficult, and I can forward it on to you if you wish, difficult to find information about the board meetings on our website. So we'll take a look at that. There's a suggested, new language that just says, how to work that says board meetings, which makes sense. So we'll take a look at that, and saying that there was no FOIA page, but there is, so we'll maybe make the FOIA page more front and center also.
Alright, so next we're up. Next we're on new business. So the first one is the library use guidelines.
Yeah, I want to apologize because the current one didn't get in the packet that was emailed to you, but it is in your physical packet. This is the policy that we work under right now, and a committee that you chair that committee.
Yes, well, no, I'm the liaison and then I took it over this year to make it happen, but I would call I the chair right now.
The incident reporting committee has been going for a year or so, and what they initially, the first step of their project was to improve the way we report behavioral incidents, mostly, and they accomplished that. And that's an internal process. But the second thing that I tasked them with is to take a look at our library use guidelines, which is basically the behavioral rules for patrons, and see if we need to make any changes to that. So what this is the suggested changes from that committee. So happy to answer any questions, and Melissa came on her vacation to be ready to answer questions that you might have. But I think they did a good job. I think it kind of streamlines things. I do have one that I'd like to hear more about what the committee thought on number 11, which is blades are not allowed inside the library. I can tell you that as an old country boy, I always have a pocket knife in my pocket, so I can stop that, I suppose. But
So sorry, clarifying question, you might have said this and I missed it. This is becoming this.
no, not exactly. This is our current policy. Everything that is below the last bolded statement here, the
Okay.
committee does not have any recommended changes for.
Okay.
Those are more about processes of how we go about enforcing the rules, and we're not asking for any changes. But all these bullet points, they want to replace with this stuff.
Okay.
Just clarifying.
So scrapped and changed this. Okay.
Now, I reread it this afternoon before coming in. There's a couple of things in our recommendations that I would rewrite, which makes me wonder if maybe it needs to, this is not the newest one, maybe draft version 1.8 is the correct. Yes. And I couldn't get to it before I came in, and I don't have access online. It's not, or packets.
You got to look under 2024, Matt needs to get in there and fix that. I know she posted it.
Okay. Thank you, I appreciate that. patrons who are not may be asked to adjust their clothing before re-entering the library. Right now, we're working on the processes to enforce these. And when these processes are if then if this, then that, yes or no, and this no longer, I don't think they're matching up quite correctly, because if somebody comes in who is not fully clothed or isn't wearing their shoes, unless there is, they're a child or there might be a mental issue there, and that's not even the right language that I want to use, that it will be addressed. So if it's something that you can fix on your person right now, then you're allowed to fix it and you can stay. And if you can't fix it on your person, you'll be asked to leave and come back when you can fix it. So this maybe is what is.
So if you don't have a shirt, if you come in and you're carrying your shirt, you're going to be asked to put on the shirt.
Correct.
But if you don't have a shirt with you, go get a shirt and come back, basically.
Correct. That was
Or
one.
5.
And in regards to the blades, in the process, it's coming out, see, and that's why I'm wondering if this is the right one. Because we're aware that people have blades on their persons, we just don't want them being displayed, like the guy that came in with the knife in his mouth. Or if you're just, walking around with your blade out, you are going to be told to put it away.
Absolutely.
So it should be concealed.
Bingo. Whereas firearms, they should know just from the signage that they're not allowed on the library property, so.
But which is also.
Right. So those are the two things on here that I think might not be correct, but I can answer any questions to anything else.
So you're just asking us to review this today, or is this a?
I think it's a complicated enough one that 2 readings, I'm okay with 2 readings.
Yeah, I don't think, because I don't know that we have the right.
Yeah, if this isn't the right version, I thought this was the most up-to-date version. I
Plus,
apologize.
we need to go enforce the current version downstairs, that's second anyway, so we don't want to change that, I'll take that.
What's that?
I need to go enforce the rules downstairs right now anyway, so we're not gonna change it for us, because they can tell you, they show me this paper, it's legal. So, I'll be back in a minute.
Okay. That's cryptic.
Okay, so Carl just left the meeting. He'll be back. So I would like, somebody make a motion to table this item until we have the most current version and we have a chance to review and make comments in the next. Is that all right?
Yeah, it's fine.
Shiloh makes a motion to table this for next meeting.
Ashley will second. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Next is the management staff personnel handbook.
Yeah, I don't ask for a revision on the whole thing, but I want to kind of, I drew this up today, and I want to kind of show you what we deal with at the end of the year, every year, is there are so many different rules that depending on what kind of, whether you're a union staff or management staff, and if you're management staff, when were you hired, and things like that. And there's 2 things in particular I want us to look at. If you look at holidays, so the CBA column is collective bargaining agreement. So that's most of our staff. Those are staff that are in the union, or at least covered by the contract. They don't have to join the union to be covered by the contract. Management tier 1 is people hired before, I don't recall what it was, 2017 or something. And management tier 2 is everything else. So on a holiday, first of all, we have different holidays. I'm not asking you to change that because it's the same amount of holidays, the same number of holidays, essentially. But there is nothing in the management handbook that says whether or not so some holidays will open. So if you work that day, you get to bank your 8 or 4 hours of holiday to use at a later date. The union contract allows, I didn't put it in here, the union contract allows them to, they can't carry it, they can carry over 2 days, but they can't accrue more than 5 days at a time. And at the end of the year, they can cash out if they want to.
Only holiday days or
Yes,
vacation as well?
only holiday
Okay.
days. In the management handbook, it doesn't say anything about it. So it doesn't say, can you have 100 holidays banked? Can you have 0 holidays banked? It doesn't say anything. I would like it to be consistent with the union contract for the sake of simplicity. So that's one. The other is a personal, it's called personal time in the union contract, but it's called bonus time in the management. It's the same thing. But in the union contract, you get 2 days. You got to use them that year. You got to use them in the calendar year,
Well, it's the normal floating, like that's.
which
like
seems very reasonable.
at ours, like at
But
our.
for management, you can accumulate up to 40 hours worth of the bonus time that can carry over from year to year. To me, that is, especially when some of these policies were developed, we had about 20 more staff than we have. So it's very difficult to, when people are saving up, because they could also carry over 40 hours of vacation time a year. So now I've got 80 more hours. I would like to eliminate that. I would like to make it, you must use your bonus time in the calendar year. Interestingly, although our policy has never said that, it was one of these myths around here that you had to use it. So that's been good for us, but it's not true. You don't have to use it. I want it to be that we have to use it. We need to use it in our calendar year, because when we get behind and we build up all this time off, it makes the next year pretty difficult if everybody decides, you know, this is the year I'm going to use it. Vacation is another story altogether. It is, 40 hours is, for management, can automatically roll over. For a union, it cannot, unless with that, they can roll over with special permission. I'm okay with leaving that as is, so I don't have a complete mutiny on my hands, but I don't care for it. We're pretty generous with vacation time. And, in some cases it means 6 weeks of vacation time for the next year.
We're only allowed
It
5
doesn't
days.
roll over, or it
It
does?
does. 40 hours can roll over.
Okay,
Okay.
then yeah,
And,
that's normal.
1 week.
yeah,
Okay.
1 week. And that's, but when I got here, there were people that had they kept getting permission to roll over by the director. And so they had above and beyond the 40 hours. So we've stopped that. It took a while.
It's a
when-
year off, so.
Yeah, it took a while because, we had one person in particular who had about 10 weeks of vacation on the books. So we finally got that chipped away at and gone. But I'm not asking to change the vacation right now, but I would like us to, I would like you guys to consider to change the bonus and the holiday to match the union contract. That would go a long way towards achieving simplicity, and I think it also makes life easier for those who are scheduling.
How many people would be affected by this?
I think there's about
I-
14 of us.
I mean, like, specifically with these changes. Like, I mean, like, how many people have more bonus time or more?
I can't answer it off the top of my head.
Because I think, like,
I think, so you're saying there's 14 people within management tier 1 and tier 2?
Yes.
Okay.
So you're saying to delete the +1 if accumulating more than 406 hours, or give that to management tier 1 and 2
Which one?
on personal bonus?
So management doesn't have the +1 if they accumulate 4.
Right, so you want to transfer that over to tier 1 and tier 2?
No.
wanting to
is the carryover part.
you wanna just delete that?
I would like it to be used,
Within the
it
calendar,
must be
yeah.
used within the calendar.
So all 3 tiers would say 2 days per calendar year,
Correct.
that's it?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, the union, when we negotiated this contract, we had an issue with use of sick time. And so rather than find ways to punish people for using too much sick time, we gave them an incentive for not using sick time. Now, once COVID hit, we're like, yeah, never mind that, never mind that, go home, stay home.
Yeah.
And we did, we lifted that, we lifted some of the things about that, 3 days and you have to provide a sick note and everything. But again, the CBA, it's not time for that to be renegotiated, it is what it is. But I would like some of the management stuff to match, and I can find out who's how many people are in, the situation with the carryover. I can get that to you, I can find out from Betty Jo tomorrow.
Yeah, and so I guess I'm just having a hard time with what this actually should say. Because this is what it is currently, correct? So
Correct.
we're kind of moving this over to the holiday accrual carryover to let's see.
Management tier 1 and management tier 2.
Yeah.
And really with the tiers don't even matter for, let me direct you to the pages in the,
4.
so, page 4, bonus leave. I would like to eliminate the last, it's actually on page 5, so it's section 5C, bonus leave, the last paragraph, and say that bonus leave does not accumulate or carry over. Now, we're not going to take it away from anybody who's already accumulated it, but,
Are we going to ask them to start using it up?
yes.
Yeah.
Here's my question. So the +1 if accumulate 406 hours, is that in the contract?
That's in the contract. But
So how do we change that in the contract?
I'm not asking to change that. I'm not asking to change anything under CBA. I'm not-
Yes,
Okay,
we
I'm
can't
not
change
confused about that then.
yeah,
We
I'm
can't
not-
change
Because-
anything in the CBA.
What are you wanting to change with the personal bonus time? Only for management?
Only for management, yeah. We're
And
not
they
considering-
have this too,
No,
even though
they
it's
do
not written
They
here?
do not have that. No, they have what is,
So,
they get 2 days per calendar year.
Oh, this
period.
one.
Yes,
Oh, okay, I'm stuck on this, I got it.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're wanting to get rid of this one,
yes.
I got it. So you just wanted to say must be used in the calendar year.
Correct.
Okay, I was up here.
Is there a definition for bonus leave? I just read the title to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you mean like how it's used?
No, yeah, I mean, how do you, what's the difference, I guess, between,
bonus leave and leave,
There isn't one essentially. It's
Special
just-
name.
Yeah, it's just, and they, actually, in the union contract, it's called personal leave, and it does talk about how it can be used. But it's the unscheduled day off, But in practice, we let people use vacation time for that too, If you're out of bonus time, you call up and say, my car's not working, I need to take the day off, we let them use vacation day. So, in essence, it's a really simple thing, just we call it all PTO,
Right.
just give people
Right.
PTO,
I mean, that's really a big, what it is, or just like an extra 2 days of vacation
Our attorney
feels-
didn't like it a few years ago.
So he would be okay with that, like, maybe?
Yeah, we got a different attorney.
Okay.
But wouldn't that make it not consistent with the contract, and isn't that the goal?
That's part of the goal, you know, I think what we gotta think about long-term is what we want, period,
Mm-hmm.
and then try to get the CBA to match what we want here. You know, I think we're pretty generous with time off. But I think we're generous to a point that it harms the institution with the ability to bank that time off.
Yeah, I mean, from like a corporate perspective, we have only vacation and floating holidays, generally, like, you know, depends on your level, but we can carry over 5 days, and then 2 floating holidays that have to be used by the end of the calendar year. So, and then you get a new set of floating holidays, so, like, I mean, I think your requests are in line, and
Yeah.
this is really generous, but it's also like part of people's pay, like,
Exactly.
this is a very
Exactly, but we're not taking anything away from anybody.
correct,
You're still getting, I'm still saying 2 days, I'm just saying,
how
You gotta
it's-
use it
let's use it,
within the year.
and rather than making, because we gotta pay, we also have to pay this stuff out if they leave.
yeah. I think it's reasonable to, yeah, I mean, I know.
So the language here, what I had in mind was this, and I think I've lost my pen somehow. What I had in mind
Oh,
was
there it
this, is change that paragraph on page 5, right above vacation leave to bonus leave does not accrue and may not carry over from one fiscal year to another.
So they can't make 40 hours? Or,
I would like to eliminate that, yes. Eliminate that sentence and replace with bonus leave does not accrue and may not carry over from one fiscal year to another.
Is that having 2 management staff that currently have been doing that for a while, who have about 40 hours.
And you, and most of the management staff that doesn't report to me reports to you, so that's probably it. Most of us do that. Most of us get those 2 days and use them within the year. I just think it
it gets
harms
a
us.
little murky.
Yes. And for holiday pay, or holiday time, it's silent on, it doesn't say anything about accrual.
Oh, that's what silent means?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
The policy, the handbook is silent on, it doesn't say anything about accrual or,
So are you
it
guys?
actually, I think it does say something about it. Where is it? No, it doesn't say anything. So,
Do you want it to reflect the collective bargaining?
I would like it to say, basically what the, may accrue no more than 5 days at any time. I don't even know, I don't think it should accrue, I don't think it should carry over. I think it should be, I mean, just use it in the year.
My staff have been working that way for a couple of years now.
Well, I think it's one of those myths that.
Exactly.
that it's,
So
everybody
you just
thinks
wanna
it, everybody
make
thinks it.
the myth the reality.
Right.
Okay, just keep on turning.
Yeah,
What
so-
are you talking about? And I think that comes from administration
I think it comes from,
and the confusion between union and.
I think it
So
is, I mean,
can we have, like, I don't necessarily feel comfortable also doing this one. Can we get the language in here that you
Yep.
want?
And then
And then we'll talk
Revisit
about
it.
it next time, because I think we're cool with it. I'd like to
Can you see
know,
it in writing?
I'd like to know how many people
And at some point, probably next year, I'm gonna send this to Jordan and say, look it over and see if there's any changes we need to make in general. Because, I mean, I like to put it in front of an attorney's eyes every few years at least, but this is one that comes up, you know, at the end of every year. Bejo's coming to me like, so-and-so's got this, and then, how do they, I'm like, I don't know, I've gotta look it up. I mean, every time I've gotta go, I'm not sure I remember how it works for this person. What, you know, first of all, tell me
What
who it
year
is.
they?
You tell me who it is, so I know.
Contract they're under. Okay, now.
And then keep in mind, city payroll handles us, city employees which includes police, who have a contract, fire, who have another contract. You know, so they get confused sometimes too, and,
It's very complicated.
I don't envy who has to keep track of all of this in the city.
and again, I don't wanna take a day off away from anybody, I just want y'all to use, I want them to use it.
Yeah.
I want them to use those days off.
Okay.
It makes sense to me to make it so there's at least clear language about carryover accrual, like it makes sense that there should be some limit to how much of the stuff you can bank.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
I drew this up right before I went on vacation, because I wanted to make sure that you guys got it in the time, but I didn't get enough detail in it.
No, that's fine. Okay, so I will take a motion to table this for right now, and we'll revisit it after we get language on what we want to change. Anybody? Okay. Need a second?
Try the second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
You know, this is January 4th, 2024.
That says January 2nd.
Yeah, go back.
It's the wrong year.
Yeah,
Okay, it is.
It's right on here, though.
that's what, that's old me on there.
I didn't look at that packet online.
That's the right one.
All right, next is the Gates lab policy.
Yeah, I don't like to go more than 3 years without something being reviewed, and it's been a little bit more than 3 years. I don't have any recommended changes to this. I think that everything's, I think that all the Gates Foundation stipulations are null and void now, because that was a long time ago that they gave us this money, and they, you know, they didn't buy the computers we have now, and sort of, but a lot of this is based on that initial grant funding that we got from the Gates Foundation many, many years ago. But I don't have any recommended changes. I just want to always,
I mean.
8 maybe.
Is this something that's not included in the meeting room?
Correct. It has always been treated separately, because it is more of a, it's always envisioned more as a training
Okay.
place than
It's,
yes, right across from us.
so,
Because most of it looks like what we have in the meeting policy.
Yeah, I mean,
don't
if we
see
think it's
anything-
redundant,
I mean, we could just add to the meeting room policy, the gates, the table of, you know. I mean, does
but
anybody see?
the big difference is we've never charged anybody for it.
Mm.
But we haven't let for-profits use it at all.
Is it being used?
Not like it used to be.
Yeah.
Not like it used to be. I mean, IHLS does trainings in it. We do trainings in it. We do the tax preparation there every year.
Yep.
Those are the biggest uses. It sits empty most of the time. We sometimes use it for test proctor. When I have a, sometimes just let him use that room.
Clarification, the only other room that was previously reservable that had computers in it is now the teen game room, so there are no more computers up in the other one, correct?
Well, there weren't computers in it before.
The one that did it, there were computers in there.
Not for a long time,
Yeah.
at least. There probably were at some point.
Yeah, there was a smart board.
Friends had their office in there.
There was some stuff, yeah, my friends had, there was some stuff in there, and at one point it was envisioned to be, this is before I got here, a kind of tech makerspace. And they had things like, and that's not even the right word, Media Lab is what they call it. I mean, they had a machine that would convert VHS to DVD, things like that.
I like that.
Was just asking in the sense that whether or not we thought it would be prudent to, if there was a need for a room with computers for the sake of the reserving process that we have, but.
This one's not even a lot of demand, but honestly,
Do they
I don't-
exist?
I don't see any reason we couldn't just maybe consider charging for,
Yeah, I know.
for profits and,
Utilize the space now.
well, and getting rid of the, well, it's not like we're turning people away for it.
No.
But, yeah,
We just got new computers, like, we want them to be used.
Yeah.
And, like, all of, I mean, I'm reading all of these, and these are all in the meeting policy. Like, the existing, the one we just approved.
yeah, I think you're right, and I think that
There's nothing, the only thing that is like
is number 10.
9 and 10 are, but they're in our, I think they're in something else, the internet policy or the,
Well, and, yeah, and,
are they using the computer policy? I don't remember. I feel like these are, like, you can't download stuff onto our computers. And,
yeah, they are, and I think you're right. And really, because these, I mean, I don't think computers purchased by the Gates Foundation have been in there since I've been working.
yeah.
So it's really,
It's just
Uh,
for the namesake.
yeah, unless they bought naming rights, and I haven't seen any evidence of that. It really maybe should just be,
Gates Foundation.
maybe it should just be folded into that larger policy. Let me, okay, that's probably simplify things.
I think it would, I
One
mean,
less
this is,
policy to, to review, especially one that is redundant.
Just the meeting room policy even style all the rooms that
Yes.
it necessary.
It doesn't, the policy doesn't, but there's
table, like the
there's an
addendum.
addendum to it that
That
does.
has
So
the-
maybe we could just,
The fee schedule.
maybe I could just work up a fee schedule and bring that to you guys, and we could vote to eliminate this policy.
I'm good with that. All right. So,
Motion to table.
motion to table is accepted by Carl.
Something.
Me, here we are. Did you second?
Yes, I second.
All right, all in favor?
Alright.
All right, so we're moving on to the meeting schedule. This will pass. It's better pass with even changes. So this is the meetings for this year. And I'm like, let's get our
This
calendar out.
July sounds problematic. Right, if it's,
You looked at all the, when you created this, or when Michelle created them, the holidays, right?
it's Friday.
Yeah.
I did it, and I tried to look at the holidays. I don't think any of these are holidays.
So it's the first.
First Thursday.
Or does anybody have any feelings about the meetings?
Just a second.
December 4th is Thursday
So, sorry, I'm new to this. This doesn't, like, if I know that there's one I can't attend, that's not gonna change anything, I
No,
just
that's
won't
not-
attend that one.
Yeah, correct.
Got it.
Also, a reminder, our policy does say if you can't attend for work purposes, you very much so can Zoom in if you like.
If it's work or illness or
Yes,
family
there's
emergency.
others, yeah.
It's just vacation.
That one you can't, but you can
Yeah.
still attend,
Yeah.
you could, I mean, if your vacation's going.
All right, so if there's no other discussion, I'll take a motion to approve the meeting schedule.
I move to approve the meeting schedule.
Shiloh moves. Carl seconds, all in favor?
Aye.
All right. Any other new business?
Just an update, that's probably old business. I'll wait till.
So next is old business, city library evaluation. We just kind of chatted, this is just for your guys' information. We got this is just the blank one.
Right.
So the last one, I think was in 2021, does that sound right?
No, it was 23.
Or maybe that was the last goals that you sent me?
But the last time, yeah, well, so the process is twofold. There's I'm supposed to do a self-evaluation, send it to you guys, and then you guys evaluate. I did the self-evaluation in late '22, and the evaluation was done in, I think August or maybe September of '23.
Okay.
But
So-
you used the old form,
Yeah.
so I don't think you've used this form yet.
So, what Rick's gonna do is do like a self-evaluation of some kind. You're gonna use that form or this form?
I'll use the one I said,
What you sent.
this is a different form than the one I sent you.
Yes.
So the one I sent you that's filled out is the self-evaluation form.
Yes.
It's not the same form.
Okay, I see. This is the one that we fill out.
Correct.
Yes.
Were all those provided by HR Source?
Yes.
Yes, make sure.
Yeah,
we do.
that was a long time ago.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Miss Ricks, when she joined the library, her HR was her back, and she was really keen on winning that, but her time in the library was very short. Wow, all the board was shorter than it desired, so yes, it did interest her.
Okay. So, I think just since our board is so new, it's gonna do a self-evaluation, and then we'll review it when we get it back. I think Carl and I will review, and then we will do maybe another review like later in the year, like 6 months or something. Is that?
Yeah, I think they have a check-in form also, at least we do for the other staff, but my evaluation is not, the form is different than the other staff too, so I'm not sure. I'll have to look at the original emails from HR source. So just to clarify, in 2022, I sent you goals.
Which most of our
but-
accomplished.
Right, so I'm going to be evaluated on what, if not those goals?
That's a great question. So that's what we're like, because I mean, most of them are accomplished, so I would say it would be
Doing well.
Yeah, informally.
Incorrect, there was general guidelines with the others that were.
I think there is.
Yeah, I think you're right, so,
Because it was a number system, and we used letter system, that was part of the confusion there, that we, desired one thing, we used it.
okay.
I think I've only used the same format twice in 11 years.
Yeah,
It's been switched every year. So, or not done every year. And I know how that sounds. I'm hoping, I feel like you guys evaluate me on an ongoing basis. I'm not saying, the
Right.
formal thing is not something that I'm overly concerned about. But it is difficult when it's different every time.
uh-huh,
So, just,
Continuity is like,
yeah, and I mean, it's hard when the board changes, like, every.
correct. And, yeah, and
Like,
Right, most of
So we're
us
all-
have only
Right.
worked with you
situation to be in, and there's no good answer. I've had, and this was 13, 14 years ago, the board decided they would get input from staff, which was a great idea, I thought. Problem was, then they showed me the input and it was handwritten. Well, I had a staff of 4. So I knew, so I knew everybody's handwriting, so that wasn't the best. But I think, you know, to some,
Do we use staff input in this one, or no?
I don't think we've ever done it.
I don't
We've
see
not used
anything
this.
in here.
And, you know, there's pros and cons to that, but I think there's some value in it, because you guys see me a couple times a month. You know, part of me says it should be, you know, look at the strategic plan, that should be what I'm evaluating.
Right, I mean, I think that is, and it's new, so, like, it's recent. So I think that is, you know.
Which I
I just think the leadership section in here is hard to review or evaluate you on when
We don't see you in that.
we don't see you in that role.
We'll just pop up and come off like, want to.
Like creates a positive, collaborative, and motivating work environment.
That was a part of
I
the
don't know.
process. We as board
So
members
it's
Had to do that.
are encouraged to speak to staff.
Yeah.
Not necessarily, you know, waiting for it, but get a sense of how the process is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you do it non-anonymously, it's difficult for the staff.
Yeah.
I'll have my kids on it.
Just a suggestion, there's a way to anonymously send a Google form out and they don't have to submit their emails with it. It's all anonymous. So that could be a way to gauge some staff and optional, of course, but.
Teachers love
We love those Google. And then another suggestion is, I think that if we're trying to get this onto a yearly basis, of course, now or soon is prudent, but then also revisiting at the end of this year to try and get it on a yearly basis at the end of the year.
That's what we tried.
One of the, well, I would recommend considering this, put it in the bylaws, here's when it's done.
Yeah.
That's not a rule yet? I mean, like, it's not a thing. Like that.
I mean, even that would have been difficult when you guys didn't have enough board members to even
Absolutely.
And it's
get much of
There's always-
anything
yeah.
done.
And it depends on the beginning of it depends on the time of year too. Like if you said this has to be done by December, like you're not gonna get that done. You
Yeah.
can barely, like, that's a
Well,
lot.
and you could still run into the problem that even if you say, well, let's do this in April, what if half your board is just changed over in
Yeah.
April, then,
So as you spoke to it, at the board's discretion, and I think both Rick and Samantha can speak to, I believe the leadership or the totality of the board has had varying opinions on the necessity of personal value, right?
Yeah.
And was evaluation, so I agree it should be.
I agree, like, I think if the board thought that there was really something wrong happening, then yeah, we'd probably be like, we should do an evaluation more often than
Yeah.
usual. It's a good thing to do, but I understand why it's not like a hard and fast rule of this has to be done this way
I
at
hate
this time.
I hate writing evaluations. All my evaluations are right now. So I get it, and I'm not, it's just,
I'm not saying it has to be as detailed as it was. The other one, like the last one we did, it doesn't have to be that detailed. Like bullet points, like,
okay.
I'm okay with that. Like, I don't need, I mean, I can see a lot of what's happening and then, but just like.
I didn't even reread it. I just found it and sent it to you.
I mean,
really
I read it.
didn't I mean, I wrote it in
I mean,
2022.
I know.
But I was much younger then.
The other component of it, and saying this on the record, was kind of current to my point, I guess you could say, but not too many people come, you know, making this vote of how much you pay the library or anything of that nature, but doing the annual review does give one a paper, you know, indicator for
Yeah.
metrics as to why
Yeah.
someone should be getting their raise basic, especially, not that that's provided, but when we were going through HR Source, they really kind of just laid out, you know, comparisons to other, obviously not locally, because we very dramatic if we change it, but comparable or.
They do adjust it for cost of living, local cost of living.
Yeah, which means I can see why, I get why it maybe hasn't happened since August of '23. Like, there's been a lot going on.
And I don't think it has to be like, oh, it needs to be done by December, it needs to be done by April, but maybe, a set, like, and I think you guys talked about setting up a committee for the review. So saying, a committee for the review needs to be set up, by the state, maybe. Maybe not the evaluation needs to be done, but that a committee is at least discussed.
We already have.
Right now, I know, I'm saying for future years.
Yeah. No, I think that's, yeah.
Because you got some, and I got some on payroll business, or other board business.
Full business. All right.
Please use your rate.
Remember how you guys voted to give everybody a 4.4% raise?
Yeah.
That wasn't that long ago. Turns out, so,
They don't like it.
no, it turns out the city council had to vote on it. Were you guys aware of that?
No.
Okay. Neither was I, because the memorandum says, board president,
City clerk.
it said city manager, city clerk, union. But city clerk told me last time we did this, she said last time we did this, it went through council, it needs to go through council. Okay, so January 6th, council meeting. It's within the first pay period, would have been fine. Well, they canceled the January 6th meeting probably because there's some apocalypse coming.
Oh, there might be
Yeah,
some.
yeah, and then January 20th is Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday, so they won't be meeting. But they will meet on January 21st. But that will mean, you know, assuming that it's the rubber stamp, I think it is by council, that will mean, did you say it's not?
That was a consent agenda.
Yeah, union will get 1.4% on January 1, because it's guaranteed under the current contract, and then they'll get back pay to get them caught up and get full point. Management is not going to get anything on January 1, and then we'll get a back pay to get caught up. The reason that's different is because payroll said it's much easier to not get anything than to try to figure the difference between 1.4 and 4.4%. So she does amazing work and makes sure we all get paid. If that's easier for her, that's the way we're going to do it.
Okay.
But with union, we had to, since it's in the contract, we had to get the form.
Okay.
So that has been delayed.
Okay, that's not bad.
Not that hot.
That's what
Especially,
you're gonna say.
they don't like that.
They don't like
Well,
it.
if they say that, then we're back to the drawing board.
All right. Carl?
Clarifying question. You need a library card to use the computers? No. There you go. So do we have any policies specifically around the unhoused homeless community in that sense? I know obviously we have parameters that we can apply, or if we don't have that policy.
You mean for library cards?
Sure, obviously in general, but you can get that considered.
Well, for library cards, if you don't have an address, a permanent address, you can get a temporary card. Last 6 months, you're limited to 5 items. If you're still, you know, unhoused 6 months later, you get another.
I'll say that part after. So my second question may be a little bit less necessary with the information there, but yes, individuals that do not have, that are unhoused and do not have any form of state identification, obviously OASIS allows individuals to use that as their current residence, to should and receive mail, things of that nature there. So I was gonna potentially explore if there is not a policy, you know, limited Decatur, so that they can go about doing that, because, you know, whether that be the right computer use or our hotspots, that can be a strong leg up for individuals that are in a tough situation.
Carol could answer this better because it's her department, but my recollection is that we will accept a letter from Oasis or Salvation Army or someplace like that. You know, a letter saying, hey, they're staying here in lieu of other forms of identification. We also have that problem with recently incarcerated, sometimes no identification. So we tried to work to get those individuals a way to access services too.
Is it required to have an ID for a temporary party?
I think we're accepting letters in lieu of.
Okay, or one or the other.
Yes. But let me double check that to make sure, Carol.
I appreciate that.
And does it require the same for computer use, or no, you just kind of